In recent years, this man, Dr. Roberto Bayardo, has changed his testimony in some of the most high-profile murder cases in Central Texas history. It led some people to wonder whether his work wrongfully sent people to prison and helped the real killers roam free. A KXAN investigation first revealed the massive number of autopsies he performed over his 3 decades as Travis County's chief medical examiner. It far exceeds the current national standard, something experts tell KXAN investigator Josh Hinkle could have led to rushed procedures and possible missteps.
That's right, Shannon. We also discovered money might have been his motive, as he raked in about $2.6 million extra in pay by performing autopsies for 45 other counties without their own medical examiners. And tonight, we revealed the money has not stopped coming in, even though he resigned a decade ago. Prosecutors are still using him to build their cases to this day, even though he admits to KXAN he's forgetting crucial details in some of the worst murders in Central Texas history.
This was a brutal, brutal murder.
In November of 1980, 73-year-old Mildred McKinney was asleep in her bed in this Williamson County duplex where she lived alone.
Someone came in the back door and brutally raped her, beat her, strangled her.
McKinney's murder shocked neighbors and devastated her daughter, who discovered the body.
And when I got to the bedroom, I could see my mother's legs hanging out from the bathroom.
More than 30 years went by before police matched a fingerprint at the crime scene to this man, Stephen Allen Thomas.
It did not come as a surprise to him that he was being taken into custody.
In 2012, Thomas finally went to trial.
Mildred's torture, Grandma Mimi's torture, was a deliberate act.
And on the stand was the man who had performed McKinney's autopsy, Dr. Roberto Bayardo. He said the woman's injuries were the worst he had ever seen.
And I proceeded to examine the rest of the internal organs.
Bayardo had resigned years before, in 2006, but since then, prosecutors have still used his testimony in at least 7 murder cases, in which he performed the autopsies long ago, like Mildred McKinney's.
As long as I'm alive, I'll probably be asked to testify and answer some other questions, and I'll be available to do it.
When we interviewed Bayardo last fall, he admittedly had trouble recalling details of the high-profile cases in his autopsy logbooks.
I don't have no recollection at all. I'm getting too old. My memory has faded a lot, so I don't have no recollection of all cases.
Cross-examination of a medical examiner in a homicide case is one of the most important moments for a judge or jury in assessing what the outcome of the case should be.
Sam Bassett is an Austin defense attorney who once chaired the state's Forensic Science Commission. He says Bayardo could have an ethical obligation to report his memory problems to the court.
It could lead to inaccurate testimony. It could lead to a jury being misled as to important scientific opinion and data.
Should prosecutors look at cases that he has recently been involved in and question maybe his testimony in those?
I think those cases should be examined, yes.
What's the possible outcome of that?
A new trial. I would obviously think another medical examiner may need to be brought in to review his findings and to see if there are any errors that need to be pointed out. And then the other option is dismissing the case.
Bassett also says it's critical a medical examiner is able to remember details beyond what's written in an autopsy report. Still, Bayardo says that report is his mental security, even if it's only a summary of what the procedure might have revealed. How do you look at a report but not remember what you said back then and be able to give accurate statements?
I won't be able to do that.
You shouldn't be used in these cases as they're coming back up?
I'm just being asked to go and testify, and I do the testifying. So it's up to them to realize those things.
We spoke with the Travis County District Attorney's Office about what Bayardo told us about forgetting things. They said the autopsy report is meant to jog his memory, and if it doesn't, they could always call for a second opinion and possibly not even use him on the stand. And yes, he is on a list of possible witness testimony in the upcoming trial against Mark Norwood for the murder of Deborah Baker later this year.
And we spoke with Bayardo this past week. What did he say about that trial?
If he is called to testify, he said he is going to have to read from that autopsy report.
Josh, his memory issues, the high number of autopsies, even changing his testimony. Why hasn't someone done something about this yet?
Well, it's tough to prove that there was an intentional mistake made. And again, he's no longer practicing, but he is still getting paid for most of his testimony, anywhere between $500 and $600 per testimony.
You and the investigative team have been digging into this story for more than a year now, and online now you can check out our interactive feature, Body of Evidence, a medical examiner's missteps. Josh and investigator David Barrere take you inside the cases in which Bayardo has walked back his testimony and how it's impacted lives in Central Texas. Online now in the investigative section of KXAN.com. Thanks, Josh.